Hello, viewer. This is a demo of the revenue reporting capabilities from SaaS Consulting Group, which are intended to provide clarity around changes in annual recurring revenue by product, customer, or across an entire business. Once implemented, companies can gain a much deeper understanding of why ARR is changing and when those changes occurred. To start, we have a test account here that has been fairly active inside of Salesforce CPQ. And so they have quite a few different contracts, some of which have been renewed, some of which may have been terminated at one point or another, and they span across multiple years with some overlapping dates in between. Doing something like this inside of Salesforce CPQ naturally creates a very long list of subscriptions that become pretty unruly to try and understand for an individual user without a spreadsheet or a calculator of some kind. The first component we have in the revenue reporting package is to take all of these subscriptions and dedupe them to classify them based on the account that they're being sold and the product that is being sold. So we have our account products package here, which has a single account product for every single product that has been sold on this customer. We have statuses showing whether or not the product itself has just been expired or non-renewed, if it's still active and what those term dates are and the next renewal dates, or if it's been terminated through some sort of cancellation process via a amendment in CPQ. We can also see the currently active ARR at this point in time for this account product and the currently active quantity. This gives any Salesforce user, even ones without a CPQ license, a very quick and easy way to see on any given account what does the current customer currently own, how much of it do they own, and how much are they paying for it without having to go dig through transaction level data like opportunities, subscriptions, or orders. If we click into any one of our account products in here, we'll see a slightly more detail based on what we had seen on our landing page previously. And then we will also see a transaction level record showing the explicit start and end dates for each one of the subscriptions that were generated through CPQ. We can also see the ARR and the quantity that's associated with that transaction line item. And again, a status showing whether or not this is still active, or if in some of our other cases, it may have been expired or canceled entirely. Once we have everything in this model to be able to show active ARR and active quantity, we can then start to track what we call ARR change events anytime our ARR at the account product level has a modification. So if we scroll a little bit further down on the same account product page, we can see exactly when there was a change in ARR that corresponds to our original start date in the transactions. We can see what the ARR value was before this transaction and then after this transaction to give us an ultimate change in ARR as well as a change in quantity. We can then see that for each subsequent booking, that even when these were booked in separate transactions on the same date, we can see that as of 4/25, the ARR for this particular product on this particular account increased by $11,000. We can even look forward and say, we expect that on 7/25, assuming, or 7/27, assuming nothing is renewed and assuming no other changes, we would actually have a decrease in ARR equivalent of $7,000. This provides some really clear forecasting as to when ARR is going to drop off, or when something may be at risk of losing revenue. When we track ARR changes at the change event level in this way, we can then take them and start to summarize them across all sorts of levels within your business. By default, we can look at a starting ARR and an ending ARR for a period. Then we can say, show us how much of this ARR was new, indicating that there was no prior ARR before on the account before the booking. How much of it comes from upsell versus cross-sell, downsell, churn, price change. All of these values are configurable values within the ARR change events, to determine what the reason for that change in ARR was. We can also see that if we look at if we group these by the effective date of the transaction, we can start to see when our ARR spikes or decreases happen throughout the life cycle of the business. And then we can even see a cumulative ARR over over a historical period to evaluate when we have had increases or decreases in our overall ARR as a business. This level of reporting provides extremely clear and quick insights into why ARR is changing, when it is changing, and what products or what customers the ARR is changing with. It's a great way to view the overall impact to your business from things like price increases, from things like a downsell or a churn, and trying to understand which products or which accounts are having those downsells, churns, or uplifts. We can build additional dashboards or additional components on our dashboard here to show things like show by customer tier on the account, or show by the the location of the account based on the country or the state or whatever those values may be. Additionally, we can then apply the similar types of views and of breakdowns on the account itself. So I can very clearly see that for our test account here, we've had a significant increase in ARR as of September, and I can see what those values are at each transaction period. Each dot on this graph that has a value associated inside of it represents an explicit booking within the overall change of our ARR and our transactions. Additionally, we can show a similar breakdown on of the tile above to show change in ARR by calendar month. We can alter this or augment this to show change in ARR by product family, or even down to the SKU level if that's important to your business. All of this just is intended to provide reporting accuracy and valuable insights for users, either with or without a CPQ license, and allow them to very quickly understand what is going on with an account, what has happened recently, and make better decisions about what to do next. If you'd like to learn any more about our revenue reporting or what it takes to implement, please reach out to SaaS CG via our website, and we'll get back to you shortly. Thank you and have a good day.